Rumors have emerged that controversial contestant Sarah Trott may have been in a relationship during her time on Matt James's season of The Bachelor. We're breaking down her response to the gossip. Hey guys, welcome back to another shared news from home. We have all the details on these crazy Sarah rumors, but before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring, and I'm joined by the wonderful Mariah Davis.
Hello.
Hello. So, before we get into these latest rumors that have emerged in the Twitterverse, I want to know your thoughts on Sarah's time on the show. I know we've talked about this a little, but she was controversial amongst the girls. So, what did you make of her? Were you rooting for her filming it?
I honestly always liked Sarah. There were times where, like, the rest of the girls on the show and probably the rest of the world watching, I was like a little annoyed with her. Like, girl, that's not your group date. Get out of there. Take that time another, like, go somewhere with that. But for the most part, I did really like her. I felt like she kept it really genuine. She didn't seem like she was playing any games. And she opened up to him very quickly, which, given what she opened up about, I mean, it was something very relevant in her life. So to me, it wasn't like I'm trying to pull a sympathy card. It was just, this is what's currently going on in my life, and it's a big sacrifice for me to be here. And I respected that. I think a lot of times we hear girls, it's like they're pitching a sad story, and I don't want to take away from anything hard that people have been through, but I think it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting to see when they decide to open up about those things, if it's like calculated. Moral of the story, I love Sarah. I thought she was a real one. I was sad to see her go, but I also was kind of happy that she made that choice because I feel like in the long run, she's not going to look back thinking, man, I wish I would have stayed on The Bachelor.
Right. No, I actually totally agree with you. There were moments from Sarah that I was like, oh, what the heck are you doing, girl? But I think it was important for her to open up in the way she did with Matt and really weigh, like, was this experience worth potentially giving up time that I won't get back with someone I love, with my father? So
Mhm.
totally felt for her on her journey. Agree with you. I think this was the right call. If you're that unsure and you're going through that much just to be there, maybe not the right fit this time around. Obviously,
Yeah.
her early exit disappointed some fans who really believed in her connection with Matt. I have to say, I saw it. I felt their connection. But moving on from her time on the show and, whether or not we think they would have ended up together, since she's left, rumors have come to light that she could have been in a relationship while she was there. We're going to break down all the details. Recent media reports have sort of suggested that there's a chance she had been dating a musician named Ben Dorman, also known as DJ Bayou, if you're in that world, around the same time that she was, getting to know Matt James on, of course, the season of The Bachelor. This is all based on some photos that surfaced showing Sarah, Ben, and others on vacation in Cabo before filming started for the show. A picture's worth 1,000 words. The internet saw these, ran with them, but since they kind of took off, Sarah's team decided their best move was to shut this down quick, and they slammed any notion that she was romantically involved during filming in an official statement that they issued to E! News saying, Sarah unequivocally did not have a boyfriend before, during, or after her appearance on The Bachelor. They explained those photos, saying she took a trip to Cabo in August of 2020. She did so with a group of friends, Ben Dorman being one of them. Ben and Sarah had a fun trip with their mutual friends, and while there may have been some intimate moments between them, it did not lead to a relationship. They doubled down, saying she went to Cabo single, came back single, and this was all on, her journey to find love. And that they added she agreed to go on The Bachelor a month or so later. So, interesting statement here. They don't deny, of course, that there were some sparks on that trip, but the statement makes it very clear that it was not serious. It was not, an in love type of situation. It wasn't a relationship. Um, obviously life happens before the show. So what do you make of this? Should she even have to explain this behavior? What is your take?
I get that if you're going to go into the public eye, you need to be aware that people are going to go digging around trying to find any dirt on you that they can, but it doesn't make it right. Because, like you said, like she has a life before the show. I mean, I don't exactly know the process of being on The Bachelor to the T, but I would assume you apply, you have like interviews maybe, and then you have life that happens and you may meet someone and you may have a little situationship because you are connecting, and that kind of seems like what happened. They're on a trip, they're in beautiful Cabo, they're having fun with their friends, and they're just enjoying each other's company. I mean, she's a single girl at this point, she can do whatever she wants, and people are going to of
Right.
course pick that apart and make it something it's not. But I don't think she should have to explain. I mean, to prevent rumors from forming and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, yeah, you probably want to make a statement. But as far as everyone's accusations, like let the girl live. Like she had a fun time in Cabo. My biggest surprise was like comparing him to Matt James. I'm like, okay, so we have like classic bad boy tatted all over the arms over here, and then we have sweet turtleneck Matt James. I'm like, okay, so now we know that Sarah is more, there's more to Sarah than we initially thought.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, in theory, she was potentially going on a show where she was potentially meeting her husband. So this could have been like the one final fling, someone she had, a connection with. She was just having some fun in Cabo. But I totally agree with you. I think that, we're seeing a different side of Sarah. We didn't get to know her that well on the show. And a lot of her journey had to do with, emotionally opening up about her dad and going through it with the girls. So feel like there's a lot more to Sarah that I wish we had a chance to sort of get to know better. Her team also said, just to really shut any potential rumors in the future down, any photographs or text messages mentioned are taken out of context and are a misrepresentation of the circumstances. Ultimately, Sarah left The Bachelor due to the deteriorating health of her father, the awful treatment she received from the other cast members, not due to a perpetrated relationship with Ben. So, like we've sort of touched on already a little bit, it's so easy nowadays for a picture or a screenshot to, first of all, be photoshopped, edited. We don't even get into that. But just to end up on the internet and really blow up and get completely taken out of context. And I feel like more and more we're seeing this impact Bachelor contestants. They really can't hide anything these days.
Oh, no, they can't. Again, you sign up for this. It's kind of something that you have to be aware that you're signing up for. People are going to come for you. Some in a good way. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, I love everything about you, and I'm going to follow you on Instagram and every move you make for the rest of your life. And then there are going to be some who's like, where's the dirt? Because I'm going to find it. And then I'm going to like blackmail you and make everything a rumor. So I feel like it's just something that comes with the territory. It brings a lot of great things into people's lives, new income, new job opportunities, and a kind of newfound fame. But there's definitely a darker side that comes along with it too.
There definitely is. I feel like I already know your answer to this. I know mine. Now that we've seen these photos, now that we've seen some rumors, is there any reason that you would doubt her intentions on the show? I feel like I think she was there to see how it went with Matt, to find love. But should we have any doubts? What do you think?
I don't think so. I really think, like, sure, maybe we'll never know if her pure intention to go on the show was to find love, to see if it really worked out with her and Matt, or to get some clout. We don't know. People do it for clout, and honestly, that's fine. That's their business. I think she left. The reason she left that we all know about, her dad obviously not being comfortable in the house. I would have left for that reason alone. I don't think, that's what all the headlines are. She left for this Ben character. I don't think that's the case at all. I think that it just wasn't a good fit for her, and it wasn't worth it to her at the end of the day.
Yeah, I totally agree. Interestingly enough, these photos are not the first photos to have surfaced of Sarah after her time on the show that have led to people just asking questions and being curious about her romantic past before the show. After her time on The Bachelor, an account called Bachelor Scoop shared photos of her hanging out with G Easy. The photos date back to March 2020, and it's actually from like an article that describes her as a mysterious woman coming out of a Los Angeles club with G Easy. She was basically the unknown blonde that G Easy may have been hanging out with that night. And there is proof of her. There's actually a video that has surfaced as well of her just like partying with G Easy and a group of her gal pals in the club. So, you know, really interesting there. Obviously, we don't really know the story behind it, but clearly quite the night. G Easy, you know, just in case anyone out there doesn't know, has been exclusively dating Ashley Benson since late last year. They have made their, you know, relationship Instagram official since last Halloween. So I don't think she'll be getting back with G Easy or starting a relationship with G Easy anytime soon. But I just have to say, it seems like Sarah has a pretty fun social life. I have this feeling that Bachelor Nation might continue to be invested in who she's, you know, linked to, who she might be seeing moving forward, and might actually really rally for her to end up on Bachelor in Paradise one day. What do you think?
First of all, there is no way she is not going on Bachelor in Paradise. Well, if I have anything to say about it, because I'd love to see her on there. That's my favorite, to like pick out your favorite people from certain seasons and kind of hope that they match together and they connect. But people, as far as people
Yeah.
being invested in who she dates in the future, absolutely. Sarah is an intriguing individual, I think, because she is such a unique beauty. She, from what we've seen, she's very sweet. Like, she seems very genuine and just true to herself. And I like that about her. I think that's something that people are enamored by. So we're going to continue to follow her. It also does add a little spice that she's connected to these big names. I think that kind of goes to show, okay, so we didn't know everything there was to know about Sarah, because we thought she was this sweet, loving small town gal. But what she really is like, she's got this super booming social life with these like big
Yeah.
rappers and DJs, and who knows who else she knows. So I think we're all going to continue to be invested in her dating life. I know I am. And who knows, she could be dating like the next big name in music or movies or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I know I certainly like was so touched by how deeply she, you know, loves her family, loves her father, how important taking care of people that are close to her is to her. I also was super impressed with the way, I mean, listen, we talked about it a little bit earlier in this episode. She went and interrupted a group date. Never a good move, never a good call. We've seen people do this in the past. It always goes wrong. But I was struck by the fact that she waltzed into that room of women and hit them with an apology immediately. Was it a great
Hmm.
choice in the first place? No. But I was impressed with the like maturity or the emotional intelligence to know that like an
Hmm.
apology was owed, that feelings may have been hurt. So I think she's someone that definitely touched a lot of viewers out there. People were very intrigued by her life, by her personality, by her heart. And I would not be surprised if we have a lot to talk about Sarah in the future to come. Mariah, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but that guy from the Cabo photos is definitely giving me kind of edgy bad boy vibes, covered in tattoos. We know G Easy. Whether or not anything romantic happened there, we of course don't know, but also kind of gives off a bad boy vibe, which I don't see from Matt James. So, what do you make of that? I mean, does Sarah actually have a thing for bad boys?
Total opposite from Matt James. I mean, I don't know him personally, but just by following him since like Tyler Cameron really blew up, and then we all were like, "Oh my God, who's his best friend?" We all kind of fell in love with Matt. He's kind of he's kind of a goober, like he's a little dorky, silly. He's just like doesn't take himself too seriously, but he also has the biggest heart, and he like is invested in making the community better. And yeah, I mean, I've only seen him in turtlenecks so far, so I don't know if he has like sleeves or anything like that. Actually, no, we've seen some shirtless promos. So totally different kind of dynamic there. It just based on G Easy, again, whether there is something romantic going on there or not, just that kind of crowd of people, like tats, that strikes me as very like bad boy. I know that they had, and it appeared like they had a pretty solid connection. on camera, but
Mhm.
maybe, I think you can have a connection with someone and kind of have an interest in them, but you have a bigger interest in someone else, or maybe people who are just a little bit more, leave a little bit more mystery there. I don't know. Maybe Sarah likes more of a hard to get, I never know what's on his mind. I never know if he's actually interested in me kind of guy. And Matt, I feel like, was pretty straightforward with her. He even told her that he would be willing to come and check on her every single day. And, we all know the bad boy type. I think that we all have that phase where we kind of like not knowing if they're really interested in us. So maybe Sarah is still in that phase of her life. If that's the case, good luck to her. It is not a fun phase to be in. But yeah, I don't know. I think Sarah, I think the next man we're going to see in Sarah's life, I wouldn't be surprised if he's also a bad boy.
That is such a good point. I mean, listen, when she was leaving, she told him, "I don't know that I'm ready for this." So, nonetheless, let's circle it back to they did have a connection. It didn't work out. And honestly, I just want to know more about her. Whether Matt James was really the one or not, I hope we see more of her. I hope she ends up in Bachelor Nation. Maybe we can put like a tatted, cool, edgy guy in Bachelor Nation for her. We can see how that love story plays out. You guys, we want to know your thoughts. What did you make of these photos? What do you make of the G Easy photos? And honestly, did you believe, based on her brief time on the show, that she could have been the one for Matt James? Let us know down in the comments. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Vanna Zaring. I was joined by the wonderful Mariah Davis. If you want to come say hi, our social handles are on the screen right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.